Welcome back to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, where I'll be voicing many opinions this week, and most of you will think they're wrong. But my channel, I'll do what I want. Joined as always by RJ. RJ, how are you today?
I'm well, Matt. I have both Coke Zero and Dr. Pepper Zero because I am contractually obligated to always have Coke Zero near me, and I also enjoy Dr. Pepper Zero. So the Coke Zero Lounge inside of our Discord, go to stackyourpoints.com to check that out, is named the Coke Zero Lounge. So branding.
You were just looking for a way to mention the website from the hop, weren't you?
Actually, no, that came to me as I was doing it. And I'm like, oh, we have the lounge inside the Discord. How do I get them to the Discord, the website? So that was live. That was not pre-planned.
Okay, I believe you,
It's true.
but my microphone doesn't. As always, we're joined by Craig or KitKat37 because I can't use the actual name of the actual title of the song I wanted to use. Anyway, Craig, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I have a Topo Chico. It's not happening. It's a sparkling water. I like it.
I have to say, I appreciate that Zoom Greeked it out by itself.
Zoom said, "No, we are a Coke channel."
It doesn't Coke own Topo. I feel like Coke might own Topo Chico.
Yes, they do.
Nailed it in one. All right, thanks, Craig. And as always, we're joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel, who on his secret stash of videos had quite the all-star on this week. How's it
Yeah,
going, Lonnie?
I'm good. I'm doing well. I upgraded my iPad to iOS 26, and it's like I got a whole new iPad to learn.
Ooh.
I got to upgrade to iOS 26 tonight. I got to upgrade to Mac OS 26 tonight. Oh man, it's gonna be a fun night.
I've been on them for 3 months. They're good. Like I keep forgetting that people have not been on them all summer, so they're like, it's so different. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It looks exactly it did last time I updated everything.
I know it's weird to hear somebody say, "Wait, I don't use an iPhone or one of their mobile devices." Basically, all my computers are Macs. Always has been. That's never going to change. The tablet experience, even all my tablets are Android tablets. I got a Pixel tablet right here on my thing behind me. Like all my everything was Android in my world because professionalism and bills to pay. But now that I got a new job, I don't have to do that, and I've decided to try the other side of the fence. I'm not going to say the grass is greener, but I am enjoying it. My point is, I've had this thing for a month, and I've gotten used to it, and then I updated it today, and now it's almost like overload with all the tips, tricks, hacks, swipes, gestures, and all the other stuff. So I almost feel like I got a whole new thing today. But we're here. We're gonna make it work.
Who are you? What did you do to my iPad?
I almost should have just waited a month and just started off on iPad and iOS 26. Actually, I can't say iOS because my iPhone's not here yet. But Friday will be a different day.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you at least have a morning drop off for your iPhone?
It says express shipping, but I don't. It hasn't actually shipped yet because, of course, the release date is not until Friday. But with express usually means at least before noon. Express with FedEx is before 10 a.m. in your local time zone, but UPS could be before noon.
It is Monday at 8:20 p.m. Pacific time. I can tell you this right now. Yes, your phone is currently in China, but on Thursday afternoon, it's going to be sitting in customs at Anchorage.
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the US just sitting in a warehouse because, once again, I've disclosed this. I used to work for Verizon at one point, so I know about that supply chain and how at least it works for Verizon. Those things are sitting in the back rooms, they're already being shipped to stores, so they're sitting back there under embargo, of course. I'm pretty sure all these iPhones are sitting in whatever local warehouse, wherever it needs. There's a huge one in Carroll Stream, Illinois, for y'all that don't know. So a lot of your stuff comes from there. This is why I know this stuff. Former jobs. But chances are they're actually going to Apple calls like UPS or FedEx and says, I got 1,000,000 boxes, send every truck you can on Wednesday. And then they just start loading them onto trucks and start shipping them. This is how most people, when they do these pre-orders, oh, it doesn't come out till Friday, but it arrived Thursday. Because if it came from Carol's stream and you live in Chicago, you're going to get yours on Thursday, not Friday. So who knows? But it's probably in the US by now.
It's fair. Apple, secretly a logistics company. Amex, not so secretly a marketing company.
Apple is actually really good with their supply chain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's why they're more logistics company than anything else. May or may not. Anyway, before we drive down to that rabbit hole and that tangent,
I think we're already in that tangent and that rabbit hole.
we did the thing. We always do it.
Yep.
We're going to move over. Now we're going to move over to our news roundup and topics. Big thing of the news from last week, we had Hilton do its third devaluation in the last year. We've seen this kind of go across the board. Now the headlines read 50,000 point increase at the top end luxury properties, but we're seeing 12 to 34% increases at economy and mid cap properties as well. It's the third devaluation, as I said, in the last 16 months. Cent per point ends up not being bad, but you're not getting super value with Hilton. Most nights appear to be between 0.44 and 0.65 cents per point. I'm sure when Frequent Miler does their next gondola search of reasonable values with Hilton, it's going to be probably a little bit less, but it is reducing exposure and volatility for Hilton. How are y'all feeling overall about these changes with Hilton? RJ, I know you do Hilton primarily, and you primarily will do cash before you do points. Does this affect you in any way, shape, or form?
I do a fair bit of IHG, a fair bit of Hilton. What I'll say is I do cash primarily. Points are for stuff I don't want to pay for. And which I know sounds silly, but it's not my primary mode, right? Like flights and hotels, my primary option is cash. So for me, like I'm sitting on 800,000 Hilton points right now. So I can go anywhere I want to go. When that gets down to 30,000, then I'm going to have different feelings, right? So right now I feel okay, everything feels more expensive. This doesn't. If Hilton was doing this in a vacuum, that would be one thing, but everything in life is more expensive. So I guess it's just not phasing me.
All right. Craig, any thoughts here?
So I don't have quite as many points as RJ. I'm sitting at around 600,000. But I also think RJ and I use our points for different bookings, right? Like I've said it before, and someone who will go nameless, who remembered me but almost forgot me as a member for a year, has called me bougie. I This one hits hard, right? Like my wife and I want to visit every Waldorf Astoria in the world. And so it becomes a lot harder to do that when in the last 16 months you've gone from pricing being 120,000 or 95,000 to 150,000 to 200,000. And so I think for me, yes, 100% I realize that inflation is a thing, devaluations happen. It is just the nature of the game. You will have it, we will be upset about it for a week, 2 weeks, and we will move on. But it feels hard, particularly for the higher end. And I'll say this, some of these places aren't truly unascertainable, right? Like Los Cabos or Cabo, Water Astoria Cabo isn't a crazy destination to get to. You can get a cheap flight to Cabo. You can get a flight to Cabo from Chicago for $200, right? And it was really nice to say, oh, I can use 95,000 points and a Hilton Aspire sub will get me 3 nights between the FNC and nights, right? And points, right? I think where this also becomes a broader conversation is, and Lonnie, if you haven't already, follow the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. But Lonnie made a video earlier about purchasing points, right? And we're getting very close to the point where even with 100% bonus, you're only getting one night if you purchase every single point that you can, right? For some of these upper echelon properties. And I think that the biggest hit here is for those luxury Hilton travelers, right? If you are a mid cap or I say non ultra luxury, right? Like Waldorf Astoria, no matter where you go, is a luxury property, right? Like the Waldorf Astoria Chicago is a luxury property, Park City, yeah. But the Waldorf Astoria in Waikiki or in Cairo or in the Maldives, insert blank far off location, it's a different level of luxury, right? And so it's those people that are taking the biggest hit. And I know we assume that like people that go to those properties are either super duper points hackers or ultra mega wealthy, but I think we're forgetting that there's a large swath of Americans that are like, hey, I do really good for myself because I make less than $600,000 a year, but I make more than $200,000 a year. I'm not sitting here boo-hoo crying for people that are making $400,000 a year. But I am saying that's the population that is mostly hit and targeted here for that, right? But on the flip side of that, I think it's also a really hard hit. I went back and I looked through the 43 different, I've stayed at 43 different Hiltons in the last 3 years, right? Wide gamut. I've stayed at everything from a Indianapolis hotel, Hilton Garden Inn, a little sketchy, all the way up to Waldorf Astorias. Every single one of those has gone up. And like every single one. And it doesn't matter what point in time that you look at it. I looked at 3 different dates for each one of those properties for off season, mid season, peak. And I think that's the bigger hit too for people that you may not notice, oh, a room was 38,000 points a night and now it's 50,000. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but 12,000 points, that's an extra $2,000 in grocery spend on the Surpass. So I'm personally, I was already looking to perhaps divest from Hilton into IHG, but I think that this just gave me extra cause to do, and perhaps keeping it to cash stays to finish our Waldorf aspirations, but looking more so to be with Bonvoy for our points because, and I can't believe I'm saying this, for luxury properties, you're actually looking at coming out better right now with Bonvoy points than you are with Hilton.
Give him a
which
week.
is crazy to imagine. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's also fair. This is the Chase Amex conversation. How bad is Bonvoy going to mess it up?
Do not bet on Bonvoy doing the right thing.
Ever.
Yeah. Lonnie, any thoughts here? Is this going to affect you in any way? I know you hold the Aspire at the moment, but you're a little bit more selective than any of us when it comes to Hilton. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, so this one, we're going to bring the coin out and we're going to flip it on both sides. So there is a negative aspect, as Craig already mentioned. Inflation and devaluations are a natural part of the game. It's going to happen. You just don't know when it's going to happen. So it's okay to be like, man, it just happened. The flip side of that coin is, okay, I guess just kind of moving on with it. Now, the reason why I'm saying it in that manner is because there are a lot of videos that have recently come out. And in most cases, we're only talking about the high end ones, like the St. Bart's and the Maldives and the places a lot of us were never going to go anyway, especially myself. I've said it before. I'm not interested in the Maldives. So the fact that it went up 50K, 100K, great. The places I do want to stay at or have or planning to stay at didn't really go up that much. So it's a hit, yes, it is not, but it's also not that bad of a hit. Also, as Craig had put out, if you're not a member of my channel, my next video will be I recently bought 500,000 Hilton Honors points. So go ahead and set your timers from when that video drops publicly, because I guarantee you someone in the comments is going to be like, hey, they just devalued them. You just lost money. I even mentioned that in the video. But yeah, it happens. But this is also one of the reasons of you have to, it falls under the earn and burn mentality. But I have talked about it multiple times of I like to book as far out in advance as possible. You don't want to be sitting on a bunch of points hoping for 2026. You should be prepared for 2026. Your points should have a purpose and an exit strategy. I know you've heard me say that one before. And so by having a plan of how you're going to use them, it also means you won't have to worry about a devaluation. Okay, it's going to cost more, but you probably don't. Your points already are allocated in some way. Either you're sitting on them waiting for your booking, or you've already booked and you're waiting for the trip itself, where that doesn't affect you. And if you're somewhere in the middle, it shouldn't affect you too much, if you understand what I mean there. Now, the only other thing is it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. It's not the last time it's going to happen. There are positive ways around it. Once again, if you're a member of my channel, go watch the video now. And if not, watch it when it goes public. But I basically point stacked my purchase of my Hilton Honors points, where I got points on tops of points on tops of points. I literally made out like a bandit. And oh, we're going to raise these rooms up a little bit. Okay. I already won. I'm still ahead of the curve the way that I accrued the points themselves. I'm going to stack my benefits from my status and my card. So the booking that I'm doing, guess what? I'm about to have my 3rd free night certificate. So I wasn't about to pay for 3 nights anyway. You know what I mean? So this falls into purpose and exit strategy, where I'm already fighting against a potential devaluation, have no idea that it was coming, but I'm still coming out ahead. And it's about sitting down and making a plan for yourself of how you're going to use these points. I will also go with Craig that Marriott is really starting to win me over as well. They are doing well.
That's
I know,
fair.
Matt. For now, I know, Matt, but for now, it's a win.
For now, it's a win. I might still secretly be cheering for contraction in most facets of the economy, just to really. Anyway, we're going to gloss over the American Express Platinum Refresh. More details came out, or more rumors came out today. We're going to talk about everything on the 18th. We've got the live on Thursday, so we're just going to gloss over it here. Some interesting things on the business card. I'm going to controversially say right now, I still think the business is probably the better card to go for than the personal, but I'll explain on Thursday. With that, we'll jump into topics, and Lonnie, we'll jump to you for topics first this week.
Oh, snap. I get to go first again? I should get a lottery ticket. I should play the Powerball.
You might win $1.3 billion and have to tell us that you.
No, somebody already won that $1 billion ticket.
All right, fine, whatever.
Still, if I won, that's still more money than I have in the bank today, so I can't complain. Anyway, my topic this week is, I'm not going to call it short and sweet, but it is pretty straightforward. And let's just get ourselves out of this YouTube space, if you will. Do you still pay full attention to credit cards? Meaning, here's a refresh coming later this week. Here's a new card that just launched or about to be released, if not. Or here's one that got another one that got refreshed. I know I just said refresh twice. Don't come at me. Are you still in this, oh, do I need this card? Or are you like, nah, I'm cool, I'm straight? You don't need a new card. Call it grazing, if you will. You don't need a new ecosystem. Call it, pick your partners, and I'm happy with what I got. Because I was actually, especially with all the refresh news, now the Hilton stuff and blah, this week, people, oh, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep or cancel? CSR and Platinum, great one. How many times we talked about that one, Matt? What are we going to do after all this stuff rolls over? You're going to keep it for a year, cancel one, cancel the other, cancel both, keep both, whatever. I realized I honestly don't care. Like, I am definitely like, in the I'm straight, I don't need another card bucket. What a 15? I'm good. I don't need another card. I'm straight. So I wanted to ask this to my co-hosts of, are you guys still out there searching for the new latest, greatest deal, seeing what's next, seeing what's coming? something's changed, does that spark your interest? Or, you know what, I have a groove that works for me and I am happy with it. Once again, you have to exclude YouTube. So not us as YouTube creators or YouTube podcast creators, just regular everyday people walking up and down the street. RJ, I want to start with you.
Lonnie, I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a nerd. And credit cards are one of the things that I nerd out about. I like new launches because they're interesting, because I can look at them and say, okay, this is interesting. Is it so? Usually, the first question I ask is it for me? Is this a thing that I am personally interested in, or is this just a thing that I think is interesting? I separate that as soon as possible. Like when Delta launches a reserve refresh or something above the Delta, that is aimed at my face. But if when United did their refresh, I was interested in it partly because it might change what Delta does in the future, but partly just because it was interesting. Like it's a big co-brand. It's something that was a little bit different. I enjoyed it. So I am a nerd in that way to where I want to know what's coming out because it makes me look at my choices differently, but it also doesn't have to just be about me. I want to know information because I want to know information. Whether it impacts me directly or not is sometimes immaterial. I'm a sports fan. I don't only read Red Sox and Green Bay Packers sports. Sometimes I read about the Ravens defense or I'll read about the Bears constantly collapsing. Something, no context for that one. So yeah, I will read this stuff because I find it interesting. And I think that's important, right? Like one of the things that happens is if you're in a space you can get jaded and finding a little bit of joy, like enjoying actually like the hobby of credit cards outside of what we swipe on, I think keeps me sane. Or retraction, keeps me as sane as I have always been. It does not change the level of sanity, just keeps it at that steady level. So that's how I am.
Nope, I understand that. Nerd crew gang up. Craig, what's your take?
So I'm also a nerd. However, I'm a nerd that is doing significantly less travel. So I am doing my absolute best to pare things down right now and actually streamline my partners. And I've come to the realization UR points mean nothing to me, right? I don't stay at Hyatt's. United is great. I love United, love the in-flight entertainment, but those are mostly cash. The only thing that has been tying me to Chase is Sapphire Lounges. And now that I'm doing the one thing that was tying me to Chase, far less. When I see a new launch, I'm interested purely from the sense of I enjoy consuming new information and I just like being informed. And any hobby that I do, I want to be a source of knowledge and a resource for people, no matter whether that is fellow colleagues or that is individuals just trying to get into whatever hobby, right? That hobby is keeping fish. So, fun fact, I grow coral, right? That's a cool thing I like to do. If it's Megan wallets or if it's credit cards, I just like information and I like that source of knowledge. But for me in my personal life, now that player two's in school, I'm traveling less for work. I am looking at simplicity for simplicity's sake. And so I had already been thinking, do I need a new card? No. Do I want a new partner? No. I want to pare down. I know we'll say diversity is great when we have talk about points. If your points do what they need, what you need them to do, why do you need different kinds? So for me right now, I'm looking at MR being my like primary source of transferable currency. And then obviously it's really nice to have the ability to have flexibility for my two main programs because Hyatt, Hilton, and Bonvoy are my two programs at the moment. After this devaluation and the lack of overall travel, don't know if that's going to continue to be the case. IHG might be a better source for me just because it's also that fourth night free, I had never looked into it. That is primo. That is just nice, right? It doesn't quite have the high end ultra cap that Hilton does. That's what we got Bonvoy and Cash. So for me, I'm just looking to pare down. I'm looking for, I don't need to spend, what was it? My last look, $3,700. Well, it was 5,000 at its highest, but like I'm at 2,600 right now. I don't need to spend between 2,500 and $5,000 a year on annual fees for cards that like I might get value from, or I can look at on paper and say, yeah, I can get value from that. Can I get value, and am I getting value, and is it worth my time? Those are the questions I'm asking right now. And a lot of things are not passing the sniff test. So we are trying to, in our best way possible, simplify things.
I love the fact that you and I are consistently on the same page. Do I really need a new card right now? And like you said, if everything's working, what are you trying to fix? Paraphrasing.
Like, I love people that saw the Citi AA transfer capabilities, and it's just, do you need Citi cards? Is your life truly going to be game changer if you get AA points into your pool? Or is it just something that's the common wisdom for the community to say, oh, AA miles are great for international travel? Are they? Have any of you actually done that?
I've been informed I'm wrong for thinking otherwise.
Let me assure you, no one has more AA miles than me in this entire community. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. I'm going to be a concierge key next year. You don't need AA miles. And I'm not just saying that because I don't want you on the plane with me.
No, that's fair. I've just been told that I'm wrong for thinking the way I do.
No, you're still wrong. But I'm
I was going to say, you get that a lot, man. I've read your comments. Your comments have made me close YouTube before. Just like, you know what? I want to just walk my dog today.
Not today. Yep.
Anyway, Matt, let's go ahead and close my topic out. How do you feel?
Not including YouTube and the preparation that I do. Some days it feels like I don't. For the channel, yes, I'm reading news and stuff every day. Yes, I'm looking at launches. Yes, I'm evaluating whether or not this works for me. Do I need this card is not really a question that's been coming up more and more. Has not been coming up that commonly for me lately. More often, I've been thinking, how do I keep the cards that I've got in rotation? I've been going to grocery stores way more often lately than I have in the previous 9 months. Grocery multiplier that wasn't a consideration for me 6-9 months ago is suddenly, oh, I wish I was getting more at grocery stores, but I'm capped at like 2 times JetBlue miles. If it's my partner's card, 1.5 Chase if I'm using my Freedom Unlimited or Income Limited. Is there a way I can maximize things? And I'm sure yes, there are ways I could maximize things a little bit better with the in cash and going directions with that. Have I put it into play? No. Should I put it into play? Should's a silly word. I haven't been going, oh, I absolutely need this brand new card. I came home today after a weekend out of the house. That's why I don't post on weekends. I came home to a Breeze card offer. It's 50,000 Breeze points for $1,000 in spend, and the Breeze card isn't particularly awesome, but a $500 cash equivalent return on $1,000 in spend in 3 months, and it's better than the offer that's on the website. That's interesting, but I've flown Breeze. I like the product. I don't like the product nearly as much as I like the JetBlue product in the same plane. So I'm going to go rebuild my JetBlue points. But no, there hasn't been anything where I've been like, oh, I absolutely need to go get this card. I'm waiting to see what the Platinum Refresh completely looks like. Am I going to go beat down the doors to grab a business Platinum or a personal Platinum card? No, probably not. And there hasn't been anything, and I've been real down on card launches this year. Like the Coinbase card I was annoyed with, the JetBlue premium premier card. My thoughts on that are well documented everywhere. The Sapphire Reserve refresh, I still have more venom I can throw at Chase that I'll probably do over the next couple of days and weeks. The Chase dining has been an absolute disaster. But there's nothing that's made me go, yeah, no, I absolutely need to go get this card right now. This card will make my life better in this way. No card has spoken to me that way. Oh, and the City Strata Elite, like aside from the 1.5 earnings, that card's a joke. And I still think Citibank as a bank as a joke. Banks that shouldn't exist anymore. Yeah, no, I don't need a new card lately. I don't need a new ecosystem. It's just been just.
You're straight.
Yeah.
You're good.
So far, I need more JetBlue points, but I have avenues to go get them.
Yeah. No, glad I'm not the only one. I think I'm just at that point where everything works, got nothing to fix, don't need to add nothing to it. We're good.
Oh, and I've gotten way less joy out of our fellow creators.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to say that, but you're being punchy tonight. At least you're not dropping names, though.
No.
This is where I make edits in the podcast.
I wasn't going to name names anyway.
I didn't say you were, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did because you're being punchy tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Still wanting to burn banks to the ground. Anyway. All right. Thanks, Lonnie.
Yep.
Craig, your topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So mine is a little bit more fun. Tech has come so far, guys, and we have some real tech-heavy people on this podcast right now. I just bought an Apple Pencil. It's fantastic. It hasn't got here. It's supposed to get here Wednesday, but we'll see. But it's come so far. It's integrated into our lives, and I'm just curious, what are some of the tech gadgets, apps, wearables? Some of us on here are very well known for our multiple wearables at a time, but that you use to just make your daily and travel life better. And bonus points, we are not doing a product pitch right now, but if you want to, something that is not in existence right now that could fill a gap in your life, what would that do? What would that be? So starting out, I'm gonna go with Matt. What are some of the things that help make your life better when you are traveling, and what does some of that tech look like for you?
Sure. My iPhone, first and foremost, is I run most of my life through my iPhone. Travel day, I'm checking in, like I'm pre-checking into my flight 24 hours before my flight takes off from my phone. I am setting up from my phone to check my whatever bags I might be checking, starting that process. You know what I need this to do? There's a couple things I need this to do. One, I need to be able to have digital global entry and pre-check card enabled in here. I need my digital ID. I need New York State to fully adopt digital ID so that I can run even more things through my phone. You know what else I need for my phone? And just to go into this bonus, I need a Chase travel app pulled out of the Chase banking application. I need a full travel suite from Chase. Like what American Express just launched today. We didn't mention this in news, and I'll mention this here. American Express dropped an app today that is their travel portal, and their Centurion gives you like the Centurion wait times and the ability to reserve Centurion lounge access wherever you're flying to that has a Centurion lounge. I need that for Chase. I need a separate app for the edit and Sapphire lounges, reserving the Sapphire lounges, booking the edit, or if I'm not booking the edit, booking hotels through Chase, doing my travel stuff outside of the banking app. I need Chase in my day-to-day life to also do that same app for the Chase shopping with Ultimate Rewards. I need a separate place for that. I don't want to go 15 layers into the banking website, favorite it, make sure that I've got it favorited 4 times so that I can go to it separately. No. Separate app, separate enclave, put that there. As for wearables, I don't use my watch for my tickets or anything like that, but it's nice to get the updates on the watch from there. It would also be nice to have one app that kind of just tracks all the lounges that I have access to and be able to see them all in one place that isn't pulling up the Priority Pass lounge, the Priority Pass app, or the Sapphire lounges in the Chase app. So if somebody could design an app that could do all the lounges that you could possibly have access to based on the card that you have, that would be cool. That would make my life a little bit easier. Just punch in the Priority Pass number that you have associated with your card and go from there. That would be sweet. Yeah, I don't really have anything else that I want to add to my setup. Really, iPads aren't going to be useful for travel day. Like, they're going to be useful for keeping my kid occupied, but beyond that, like, I don't have a need for an iPad while traveling myself. Better apps on the phone. Like, I want more to what I do with travel on my phone.
Awesome. I can appreciate that. Also, folks, do not. So, my son is not an iPad kid. I've tried. I genuinely have tried. He just does not want anything to do with the tablet. And yeah, so do not underestimate the value of technology in children. But with that said, thanks, Matt. We are going to move on to the dual wielding Kimbo weaponist, RJ. Tell us about your tech and your travel day.
So I don't actually have my Apple Watch on right now. It's on the charger. So I'm down to a single watch at the moment.
A very nice
Uh,
watch.
it is. I love this watch. It's my baby. Anyway, so when I travel, I do wear two watches. Or depending on if I want to wear the nice watch on the plane, I put my Apple Watch on my dominant wrist or my non-dominant wrist. I have Flighty. We are not sponsored by Flighty, just buy Flighty. If you fly, buy it because you can buy it for a week. It's one of the rare apps that I endorse buying for a short term if you want to try it just to figure it out. You can also do their free version. Their free version is not bad. If you are in this community, you're probably going to want the paid version though. But you can buy it for a week, which is nice because if you're going on a trip and flying twice in that thing, you can see if it works for you for $6. It's definitely worth it in my opinion, but that way I can track everything. It goes to my watch via my phone. So if there's a gate update, I've literally been walking to my gate. I get it on my watch that it's a different gate and it saves me getting there, figuring it out, and turning around. I travel tech heavy. I travel with at least one MacBook, at least one iPad. I basically have the entire Anchor website in my backpack, or at least a cornucopia of offerings. I don't have every main charger, but I do have one that has the two USB-C cords plugged in that you can charge a MacBook Pro with. That is in my backpack always. That is I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care that it's a solid gold brick. Yes, I don't care. That's adorable. I don't care. I don't care how heavy my backpack is. I don't. Once it's on my back, I genuinely, if it's under 50 pounds, I don't care. But my backpack has batteries, it's got cables, it's got Kleenex, Tylenol, Tums. I'm at the stage of my life where Tums just follow me around. So all of that, DOP kit, all of that is in that bag. So when I travel, I am a mobile command station. And the reason I do that is because, look, I am to a point in my life with tech where if a thing does a thing well, I want it with me. I don't necessarily want to compromise. Now, Apple has gotten much better at the iPad can use desktop browsers and it actually functions like a real desktop browser. That has changed remarkably in the last few years. But if I want to use my MacBook for things, sometimes that is the best option, right? Sometimes I don't want the iPad to function like a computer. I just want my MacBook. So I do both. The nice thing is I have the 13-inch MacBook, or I'm sorry, the 13-inch iPad Pro and the 13-inch MacBook Air, which they talk to each other really well. So if I'm somewhere, I literally can just have two monitors and then either run it as an iPad or run it as a second screen. So when I travel, that is just all with me. And then I use my phone as a hotspot depending on where I am and if I trust the Wi-Fi. So I travel tech heavy. I do. I very much do. And Amex answered the second part of my question. I was so ready to be like, Amex, why won't you give us this thing? And then I saw the post about them giving it. I'm like, that takes the wind out of my sails for the second part of Craig's question, but I'm excited. But yeah, I am not more than 10 feet away from an Apple product, probably legitimately 90% of my life. Between the watch, AirPods, and my phone, like, unless I go downstairs and for some reason my watch is charging and I don't take my phone with me, and then there's Apple devices in my house. So maybe walking out to get the mail if I don't have my watch and my phone with me is as far as I get from an Apple device at any given time in my life. I might actually be 52% Apple device at this point.
Warren Buffett loves to see you coming.
She's cyborg at this point.
I know what I like. Anchor and Apple are the bread and butter of my tech kit. And guess what? I have never had an Anchor thing catch on fire, thankfully.
Ever.
I have never had one fail when it was the product's fault. The cables, look, if you do stupid things with cables, even the good ones are going to break. But it's never been the cable's fault. It's been my fault for twisting it in a stupid way. Yeah, they're good products. What can I say? And use Lonnie's link.
I was going to say,
Thanks.
Anchor, if you want to, please sponsor us. We have hundreds of dollars worth of items here. We have cables. We have power bricks. I just bought the little big thing because my in-laws use CPAPs. So just in case they ever have a blackout, they can plug into that bad boy. Boom. Same thing for Flightly. We all use it. It's fantastic. I'm not saying that we're sponsored, but I would love to be. With that, thank you. We will now pass it over to the tech person, the tech man, the man in tech himself, Lonnie. How do wearables, technologies, apps, and everything else make your travel day better? And if something doesn't exist, what do you want to see?
The thing that doesn't exist is a teleporter. That'll make my travel significantly better.
Fair enough.
But
that one.
I have to start off with my travel remote, which I'll call my phone. Yeah, like the second I leave the house, everything starts going through that. And I'm not just talking about the regular stuff, like, oh, your boarding pass and your digital wallet. No, I'm literally talking about it is absolutely everything. Now, there are a certain number of apps that I live, breathe, and die by. And I don't want to spill the beans because I'm actually doing a video like my must or your go-to, or here are some of my favorite travel apps. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but travel apps that people don't necessarily talk about. Like, we can talk about lounge access. We all know there's lounge access apps. There's ones that are even better than that out there, and I'm going to talk about those. But those are, like I said, that's still just part of the phone itself. My headphones. Fun fact, I always have at least 2 different types of headphones on me and 3 when I travel. So I have my over ears, my noise cancellations, have my earbuds, one of which I'm use on the podcast almost every single week. I have 2 of them. The other one's buried in my cabinet over here. Lazy, because this one is right here in my like catch-all grab and go spot. So every week I'm like usually with these. And then I have my earbuds, my wireless earbuds as well. So I'm always with a pair of basically noise cancellation headphones of some kind. These aren't noise cancellation, but they're really good at it. But they're wired. So I have my wireless, and my wireless over ear which I could plug an auxiliary wire into if I wanted to. The other thing, Android Auto, soon to be Apple CarPlay, as I switch my iOS to a different daily driver starting later this week. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm still going to have my Android phone. I mentioned it last week. Like my Pixel 10 is about to show up, and then my iPhone 17 is about to show up. So I'm still going to have my two phones. I'm just switching which one's going to be my daily driving phone. You know what? My next thing on my list was my Anchor adapters. All my Anchor stuff in my tech bag. If I could reach it, I would. But it's a Bellroy tech bag, fits everything in it. And if it's not 90% of the stuff, 100% of the cords in that bag are Anchor for sure. All my battery packs are not necessarily Anchor. I actually had a friend that used to work for Mophie/Zag, acquired Mophie a couple of years back. And so, yeah, she hooked me up with a bunch of stuff. A friend gave me a Shark Geek, the clear, transparent battery pack. Go watch MKBHD's videos. He talks about them quite often, these clear ones that are airline safe. A friend gifted me one of those one time. So I have that. It's huge though. So it's not like a day bag, but it can go in the backpack type of situation. So I got all my battery packs with me. Those have to go. My everyday thing, I always got on a watch, soon to be an Apple Watch, because daddy spent some money. Daddy spent some money on pre-orders.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I would full RJ on pre-order on pre-order day. Literally full RJ. Got my ring, my fitness ring, my Oura ring in that case. Not just tracks the sleep, but of course I'm also on my fitness journey, burning off the dad bod, making sure I stay active, because my soon-to-be 3-year-old is very active, and I want to make sure I can be around and be as healthy as long as I can for him. So it's actually really important to me. So I do like to track all that type of stuff as well. I hit my 15,000 steps per day. You know what? I might actually need some friends in my circles when my watch shows and watching my new phone show up. So I don't know how you're going to give me your personal information. Y'all will figure out in Discord or whatever. I don't want whatever. But if you want to challenge, I'm your boy, and I'm very competitive when it comes to my steps. I don't like getting beat. Anyway, my actual physical wallet is one of the other things. Right now, I had Reform. To be completely honest, I've done videos about all my tech stuff, like my tech bags that I travel with, all the tech that I carry. It is behind members only wall, not to promote or support members only again, but it is back there, and I literally go through like everything at that particular time, even down to my cameras, and also like my wallets, my travel wallets, my passport wallets, my everyday wallets. So I did use Reform. If you have Instagram, I'm sure you've seen Reform ad on there at some point, but I just switched back to Ridge. I keep going back to Ridge. I think Ridge is really great. I'm not going to lie. And this is not sponsored, but if they want to sponsor somebody, I'm happy. I'm happy to be an advocate and sponsor for Ridge.
Not sponsored, just a fan.
If you
That
go
too.
to stackyourpoints.com, you can contact us if you'd like to sponsor us.
I was actually thinking earlier this week, I think we all use Pitaka cases. We should actually reach, the four of us, we need to just reach out to Pitaka. That is honest to God, whoever you believe in, I'm sorry. But that is honest to God. Yeah, we actually use your products and talk about them anyway. But then they're like, why should we sponsor you? You're already buying our products and talking about them. So we need to stop talking about Pitaka. Anyway, those are like my main things right there. I think the most beneficial would be the different applications. I've never used Flighty. It's not the same app on Android as it is on iOS. So come back to me in a couple of weeks or after my next trip, and we'll see how that works. I would actually like to figure it out or see what all the hype is about. One of the reasons why I'm switching operating systems, there's more grass out there. Is it greener or not? I don't know. But I'm still Android for life. And so it'll be nice to try something different. To be able to give an honest answer on what works better for me by actually physically putting myself in the shoes of the other operating system.
Nice. Thank you, sir. I'll say I will not beat a dead horse here, but similar to my co-hosts, I am a very tech-heavy person. So, like, my phone is the command center for everything. I could live without anything else, but if I don't have my phone, I am lost, both literally and metaphorically. I took off my Apple Watch here just a moment ago to see how bad my farmer's tan is. It's wicked. It's
Oh,
wicked.
yeah.
We're talking about it's the same color as my thighs right now. And that is a bad place to be in the middle of summer. I am traveling with power banks. Oh yeah, Art. It's rough life.
I'm incredibly pale. Not a brag, a medical condition.
It's okay that you and the sun have beef. I think we can work through that. But for me, other than my phone, my Apple Watch, laptop, I just recently bought an iPad, so I'm going to see how that functions into my actual travel and work tech setup. Everything I own is pretty much Apple at this point. My work phone is Samsung Ultra 23 or 24, one of those. But for the most part, everything runs through my Apple ecosystem. Even my Microsoft products run through Apple. If Apple is to ever fold, I am in trouble. I do not know what I will ever do. But other than that, I'll say for me, the only thing that I think is really missing, similar to RJ, was what Amex just put out. And it is, hey, what is the wait times? How long do I need to get there? And everything else. And so that dedicated site for travel is a huge game changer for me. Granted, I'm not doing nearly as much travel, but it is still a game changer. So thank you all. I appreciate it. And I learned a little bit as well, just about like how I might change my setup. So it's always appreciative talking to you all.
There you go. No, thank you, Craig. RJ, your topic.
So we all talk about cards that we have for reasons other than spending money on them. Some people call these sock drawers, some people call them perks cards. I don't care what you call them. What is your favorite one? What is the card that you rarely actually swipe but still love? I am going to exclude the Apple card from this because you have to swipe it to use the feature of getting the 0% for the payments. So I don't want to use that one because obviously swiping is a key there. Matt, I will start with you.
Probably my JetBlue business card. Bags taken care of. I get to pay my way back up to even more space and regenerate points that way. It's just my flight card. So whenever I'm booking a flight, that is going to be the card I'm going to use, especially if, obviously, when I'm booking JetBlue. If I'm booking another flight, that's going to be the Sapphire Reserve. But honestly, the Sapphire Reserve's in my everyday wallet, so it's still qualified. So yeah, my sock drawer card of choice is my JetBlue Business. Eventually, I'll get a JetBlue Plus just so that I can hit that welcome offer and potentially phase out the JetBlue Business to churn it and do it again.
Short, sweet, to the point. I appreciate it. Craig, what is your favorite sock drawer card and what is the perk on it that makes it your favorite?
Absolutely. I have a question before I answer. Matt, will the CSR still be in your everyday wallet come October 27th?
October 27th, yes. Come April 1st, probably. Like I've mapped it where I can still get at least 800, 900 to start.
Fair enough. Okay. Just interested to see. For me, it is technically I don't swipe it. I just press a button for Apple Pay. But I'm going to say the Platinum. I don't physically pull my Platinum out to pay for anything. And if I do, it is like one random thing that has an offer on it outside of flights. And considering I have not flown very much recently, it is definitely it's actually sitting in the travel wallet, travel pouch I keep in my backpack. It's one of these type of things, right? Like I just keep a few cards and an extra ID in my backpack. I don't swipe it anymore, but I get so much value out of that card. And not to say, I'm going to say this. I think 95% of the people that have a platinum card probably don't need a platinum card.
Definitely don't need a platinum card.
I think realistically, at this point in time, I'm probably borderline on if I actually need or get enough usage out of my platinum card anymore, just because I'm not flying nearly as much. Like my flights decreased in the five figures now with the amount of work travel I'm not doing. But things that I would always use, I'm always going to want Disney Plus. I'm always going to want to get into a lounge no matter how many times I'm flying because I want that free food. Yeah, I think it's the platinum for me. I still get wonderful value out of it. And depending on what happens on Thursday, it will be probably the only premium transferable currency card in my wallet. But we will see. Sock drawer, because CSR will also go to a sock drawer. But neither here nor there.
Lonnie, your favorite sock drawer card and why?
I knew Craig was going to say platinum. And y'all also knew I was going to say United. So we're just going to go straight over there. For me, I'm going to say the blue and the purple cards. United, so they're Explorer and the Quest. But don't forget, I recently just got the Quest card a couple of months ago, earlier this year. I've been with that blue card for well over a decade, probably like 15, 17 something years. I've had it for a very long time. Now, there's a reason why, and it's because you get so many perks and benefits from both of these cards. Now, I'm going to name off a lot here on the stuff that you get. Some are specific to blue, some are specific to the purple, some you can get on both. So go do your own research. And if you're interested, go figure out which one is best for you or reach out to me. And of course, please use my referral link. Because so many people ask me questions and then they don't use my referral link, and y'all can literally kick rocks and pound sand after that. Lounge access, United Club, which is not packed like an Amex Club or is not far away in the next terminal like a Chase Lounge or Capital One Lounge or something like that. You don't have to walk too far for a United Club. You go to especially a United hubbed airport in this country, and you're gonna have 4 or 5 different options of United Club. You're always next to one. And now they even have them outside of the country. So you can go to United Clubs in other countries now. United offers and discounts. So you can get discounts on your actual flights by having the card, and you don't have to use the card to buy the flight. So still not swiping it. So go use your Amex Platinum, get your 5x MR points if you want to, but you'll still get the Saver Awards and or the discounts just because you are a card holder. They do the same thing for their shopping portal extension. So maybe it's, oh, we're doing 1 mile per dollar, but because you have the card, you might have an offer where they're just going to double it. Whereas we'll give you 2. And if it's like a 10, we'll give you 20 just because you're a card holder. Still don't have to use the card to pay. You just get it because you actually have the card. Do I need to bring it up? I'm going to bring it up. Mileage Plus X app. Let's just be real. Another one. If you're flying United, want United miles, it's a gift card app. Go buy your gift cards. Because you're a card holder, you get a 25% boost on whatever you earn in that app. Once again, you don't have to use the United card to buy the gift cards within the app. You just have to have it. So you can pay with any card that you want, and you'll still get the 25% boost because you're a card holder. There are travel bank credits. So they give you travel bank. They give you awards on, there's always some type of anniversary award, like 10,000 miles, something like that. Some type of travel bank credit. You get 25% discounts on food when you actually have to use the card to get. So if I'm flying or at a United Club and I'm purchasing something, I'll get a 25% statement credit. I actually have to use the card to get that because it's a statement credit. So we're going to nix that one. You can use their miles to pay for so much stuff. Literally. we don't need, I'm not even going to go down that list. I've done that with Matt before, but you can use United Miles for a lot of things, and it opens the door because you're a card holder. That's the price of entry, just having the card to get to a lot of these extra things. Free check bags, instant priority boarding. I think the lowest boarding number if you're a card holder is boarding group 2 out of 5, if that. So that will basically guarantee you got space in your overhead bin, period. So that's worth it. Priority check-in, so you get to go in the Premier line. If you've gone through any, especially a United hub or a major airport, and you see the Premier section of United, and then the regular economy is so dank and drab and dark, and the carpet is so sad to see. Go to SFO, go to LAX, go to Chicago. Craig, keep me real. Go to Chicago, the Premier and the regular, you ain't got no status economy check-in sections are
it's rough.
They are night and it's offensive when I walk by. I'm like, man, that's how they treat the rest of y'all. It's offensive. You'll never have to go over into that section again. You can stay in the section that has the windows and the natural light and all that other fun stuff. And also priority bags. So when you actually check a bag, which of course will probably be for free, you are almost guaranteed that your bag will come off the belt first when you get to your destination. I'm not going to say it's going to be like the first out of the first 10, but your bag gets specially tagged, and the tag bags come out before the non-tag bags is what I'm saying. And once again, that's just because you get it as a perk of just being a card holder. You don't actually have to use the card to do that.
We'll jump into my topic. The last topic of the night is it's starting to feel like loyalty is a bit of a one-way street with hotels nowadays. Lonnie's mentioned with airlines, United specifically, that things are different there. But is that really the case? Is loyalty still a two-way street across the board? It feels like with Marriott specifically that your loyalty, no matter how many nights you stay, it really doesn't matter. It's at that property's sole discretion, and Bonvoy's not going to back you up. Hilton is less likely to do that sort of nonsense, to put it lightly, but Hilton properties are still at their own discretion. They can deny you food and beverage credit if they so choose, and it's not like Hilton's going to come back and slap them on the wrist and give you your food and beverage credit, usually. Hyatt's generally okay, but if a Hyatt property is not going to follow your globalist breakfast option, what recourse do you have? So it doesn't feel like loyalty is the two-way street that we think of it as. But am I wrong? Is that really the case to think? Craig, I'll start with you first.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say this. I think that loyalty to a certain degree is a two-way street with diminishing returns, right? In most cases. I think for airlines, and I'm going to give this from two perspectives. From a perspective of an everyday traveler, if you get mid-tier status, you have everything you need, right? If you're only taking 1, maybe 2 trips a year, or even if you're taking less than 10, you don't need super duper high status. I think that you are better suited going to a place that fits your needs better than worrying about loyalty. Whether that is from a hotel perspective or from an airline perspective, go with whatever is going to fit your needs in that moment. For me, I pigeonhole anybody that is truly brand loyal to a specific brand is more than likely because we got pigeonholed into it some way. RJ, because she lives in a place where Delta is the primary usage of her points and the best avenue for her to be treated the way that she wants to be treated. Lonnie, I'm assuming it's because of work travel, and now we're just so deep into the United ecosystem. Hey, that might as well just keep going. For me, AA, it's work travel, right? I think that looking at loyalty for us, looking at loyalty from a business perspective, I think is mistaken. These are huge corporations. They don't have any soul. They don't have any loyalty to me. They don't have any trust. I have no one to go to and say, hey, treat me better. Even me at I hit Bonvoy ambassador level. I've gotten upgrades for the last few times, but I'm waiting to see how quickly that dries up, purely based on we no longer need to impress you now. I expect loyalty from individuals. I don't expect loyalty from corporations. And I think that if I was to even, I'll say this, and this granted is just from my perception of money. I think for as much money as myself and my company has spent with AA, I should be treated even better than I get treated right now. I know that's not the case, but I should the same way that I can book an extra leg room economy seat purely with how much flying I do, I should be able to just book a first class seat, no questions asked. And, like at the same price as an economy seat. That will never happen
Right.
across any airline, but it should, right? If we're saying like, hey, you are our most loyal, truly fantastic customers, Lonnie is a 1K member, you have the right to book 8 first class seats on your reservation for the price of economy. That should be a thing. It's not going to, but it should be. So I think that as we think about loyalty and brand loyalty, it's an exchange. I give you my money, you give me a good experience, and I will continue to give you my money until you give me a reason not to. Hilton, I'm just going to bring them up for right now. I was already looking at not continuing to give Hilton more of my money. And it's not from a bad experience. Hilton, I people will dog on the Hilton Diamond status, but I don't think those people have ever called into the Diamond line outside of fixing a free night award. It's actually pretty serviceable. Their customer service for Diamond members actually pretty good. Also, if you go to any property that's not just Hilton Garden Inn or just a DoubleTree, you actually get some pretty decent perks, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't had great experiences as a Diamond member. The Waldorf Astoria in Park City gave my kid like a full-on like miner's hut like tent in our room and with a pretend plushy fire and like miners and like goats and stuff. That's like really great. And it was complimentary because I was a Diamond member, right? That was normally like $150 you have to pay extra. Lonnie, if you ever go, or Matt too, if you either you ever go to Park City, the Waldorf Astoria, get that. It is a most fantastic little experience for your kid, and I promise you, you will enjoy it. It's going to be a pain in the butt when it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You get up because somebody's crying randomly in their sleep, and you trip over something. But the pictures, the memories, it's fantastic. So I think from a loyalty standpoint, we need to adjust. At least I have adjusted my viewpoint of loyalty just to, are you serving my needs? And I think we oftentimes think relationships need to exist because we have this sunken cost fallacy. Let me assure you, it is okay to drop people and loyalty programs. So that's just me.
That makes sense. RJ.
So I think it depends on what you want to get out of the loyalty. I think that is part of the math that people don't take into account. I Craig and I have different views of this. I think people expect too much. And I'm not saying they should not expect what's on the tin, right? If your website says anybody with gold status can get a late checkout, anybody with gold status or higher should be able to get a late checkout, right? That should be universal. But if it's pending availability, that's an open-ended thing, right? If you don't get it, it might be because there's 58 Diamond members for our conference that week from a specialty that travels a lot. So they just naturally are all Diamond members, so you get bumped, right? There are ways around things where if your view of what your loyalty program should give you are out of whack, then there's no amount of actual reality that's going to fix that. I do talk about pick your partners a lot, as does Lonnie. We do it for different reasons, some overlap. For me personally, it's about coordination of spend. If I only have 3 to 4 partners that I really care about, it is much easier for me to build a war chest with what I spend than to have to try to game things. Now, do I stack? Do I do all that? Yes. But I spend less in a year that I'm not doing renovations on my house than Craig spends in a year on food. So what I spend has to be targeted. I don't have a choice. And I'm not saying that Craig doesn't target things, but his spend and my spend are very different categories. They live in different tax brackets. It's fine, but it means that I have to narrow things, right? Like I have to spend in a way where it has the most impact for how I do things. And that means having one airline partner and two hotel partners, which means my loyalty is conditional on how I'm spending, how I'm traveling, and all of that. It is not based on me thinking that Hilton is a great shining beacon of hope in the world. No. But do I like the points that I get from them? Do I roughly find what I want for a price I'm willing to pay? When I do use points, do I get what I roughly want? Yes. Like I always look at reviews per hotel. I don't think of, oh, I'm staying at a Hilton, it'll be fine. No, I look at that Hilton. So I rarely run into, at this stage, a bad hotel because I've already vetted them. I do not go on name alone. I vet you. Even the Intercontinental I'm staying with next spring, I vetted it. It's a named hotel in DC that like presidents have slept in. I still vetted it because that is who I am as a person. So for me, loyalty is conditional on I want to get as much condensed down as I possibly can. It is not based on me thinking loyalty blindly is a good idea. And I think that's where people misunderstand sometimes how I talk about pick your partners. It's not because I think that free agency is bad. It's if you have spend that is targeted, you're going to get more out of it than if it's not for most people. And usually when I'm talking, my points are targeted to quote most people and not the people who are getting offers for 500,000 MR points off of a business platinum or something. So that's just how I see it, but that's why for me loyalty matters. And I do think in some ways it is a one-way street with hotels, but I also think like it's a one-way street for most hotels. You pick the programs you think are hosing you the least. Like, I can make a lot of Hilton points, so them being slightly higher doesn't hurt me the way if IHG did what Hilton did, I would be done with them. But I can accrue enough Hilton points where that sting is still a sting, but not a deal breaker. And I think the reason airlines don't do it as much is because airlines own their product. They own the planes, where hotel chains don't necessarily own the physical building and the product. They're basically like McDonald's franchises. There are good McDonald's and there are bad McDonald's, and they might be owned by radically different people even though they look exactly the same. So I think that is something that we don't talk enough about as a community. Is that's partly why is like Hilton doesn't own most Hiltons or DoubleTrees, like or Waldorfs. They don't even own the top end. So that's loyalty, I think, is an interesting topic. I like my eggs to be in several smaller baskets.
That's fair. Lonnie, your thoughts to take us home.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's 100% a one-way street, but it's pretty close to 100% it's a one-way street. And what I mean by that is for it to be a two-way street, I need to get something out of it when I'm not staying at the hotel. And that's the reason why I'm saying it's almost 100% because, yeah, loyalty status is great, but I only get it when I stay there. Versus, we had just talked about on RJ's question, there are ways that we can get perks from our credit cards and from different other loyalty status, like in my case, airline status, outside of actually being on a United flight or being with United's brand or company in any way. I can carry it with me, which makes it feel more of a two-way street. So that's where my math is mathing at that particular moment. When it comes to a lot of the hotel loyalty, you're right. And even though you're staying at their property, there are still, you can be a diamond member, but when there's other diamond members that have more tenure, more years on you, then you might get bumped to the bottom, even though you're still a diamond member. Like you can go to Hyatt, you have the highest status at Hyatt, but then JB Pritzker's daughter shows up and you get bumped. You know what I mean? So it's not guaranteed, is what I'm saying. And the issue is, and I'm going to assume that your question stems from we do all this work for it, and then that one time we actually relied on it, we didn't get it. Like Craig was saying, he can fly AA all the time. I'm sure there's somebody that they will put in ahead of him, even after all his tenure and loyalty, where he didn't get the upgrade because the CEO's granddaughter's next door neighbor who said, hey, can you put me in the front, got bumped up ahead of him. Those types of things. Now, I don't want to call it fair. I don't want to say it's disingenuous in any way, but I'll say it like this. I'd rather have it than not have it. You're going to get more out of it than you going back to the original idiom, the juice will be worth the squeeze. Now, depending on how are you getting your status, are you actually staying the nights or are you just pay to play? I'm pay to play. Craig staying nights. I'm pay to play. I'll just go buy the credit card and go just add water, instant platinum, instant diamond. That actually makes it less two-way streety, even more one-way streety, because what happens to the person that actually spends all their money at that particular hotel brand and they're one night away from the status that I paid $500 for? And so I'm not going to say yes or no, but there are a lot of variables here. But I think the biggest one and the main point of your question is you don't get your status with that hotel until you stay at that hotel. And if you want to get the best benefits of that hotel, then you got to stay at the better hotels. Right. I have IHG Platinum. I was getting it with my old job because we stayed at Intercontinentals all the time. I wasn't getting Platinum, but I was getting close to it. And that's one of the reasons why I got my IHG card. We've talked about that previously. But I stayed there a lot. And I rarely ever got an upgrade till I got that card, is my point. And so it's like they didn't even recognize me in that way until I got there. So in that way, it feels like a two-way street. They got what they wanted. I get what I want back in return. But the only way I get what I want back in return is staying there. Now, that's Intercontinental. You got to upgrade at the Hilton Garden Inn, the Holiday Inn Suites, the Express. Yeah. Did you really get an upgrade? Is that room really that different? You know what I mean? So there's once again, there's a lot of variables there. I'm a little bit left and right because I don't want to say yes or no, but I do agree that I would agree with you in your statement of it can be a little one-way streety when it comes to a hotel. Because as I walk, when I'm out and about in the city tomorrow, is my hotel status doing anything for my United status can, but is my hotel status doing anything for me?
No, that's fair. Yeah, just wanted y'all's thoughts there, so appreciate that all the same. So with that, thanks everyone for another episode, and we like to highlight our diamond and new members each and every week. Our diamond members are Rex Bleen, Rupert Pond, Double Animal Fries, AP, Keith, and Mitch 528. So thank you so much. You can join the membership at through the YouTube channel and go to stackyourpoints.com and join the Discord, and you can let us know what level membership you have joined at. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.